Welcome back to another episode of DRP Between The Sets. I am one of your co-hosts, Kyle. We've got Donald over here across the table from me.
How we doing, baby? How we doing?
We're living the dream. We've got Darci here as well. Our special guest, Darci, is back on the podcast for a pressing episode. Darci, what do you have to say to the people?
Hello and welcome.
Welcome to you as well. For those of you that are new here, this is a podcast aimed to educate, motivate, and inspire the next generation of athletes, maybe some middle-aged folks who are looking to continually learn and better themselves, maybe some older generation folks that are looking to do the same, because it's never too late to learn a thing or two. Today, we are going to be talking about, as always, another very pressing and honestly controversial topic, and that is the topic of body positivity.
Yes.
So before we open up this whole can of worms, I've got the definition of body positivity in front of me here, and it is a social movement that promotes a positive view of all bodies, regardless of size, shape, skin tone, gender, and physical abilities. Proponents focus on the appreciation of the functionality and health of the human body instead of its physiological appearance. So let's break that down a little bit today. So I want to focus on the first half of that definition to start. The social movement that promotes a positive view of all bodies. This is something that has arose alongside the advent, if you will, of social media, I think, and has played a big role in influencing individuals who are looking to better themselves from a solely aesthetic and fitness perspective, both positively and negatively. So when you guys kind of thinking about your clients and the people that you aim to influence, when you think about this whole trend of body positivity, what do you guys kind of think of, and how do you approach that with your clients? Let's start there.
I guess personally, I would say that I struggle with the body positivity movement being a trend, or is it more an excuse, or is someone trying to do this for their health, or is it trying to be the next best thing? So I personally wonder, when someone's saying body positivity, are they looking at what they're comfortable in, or are they trying to persuade themselves to feel one way just because they can, and that's what everyone else is saying is okay right now? Is it good one way or the other? That's where I think that the question's lying with us right now is, someone getting comfortable on social media, they're getting great reviews, they're getting views, they're getting likes, and then all of a sudden they go to a doctor and they're saying, this is you're not healthy, and
you have 2 weeks to live.
Yeah.
And when we come into the mental health and stuff of everything being a big forefront right now, are they then turning around and everything they thought was right is wrong? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of struggling right there to see the positives and the negatives of the positivity of it.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it comes from, at least for me, the viewpoint, as us sitting here with us being personal trainers, we look at body positivity. We're thinking, what are we doing from a day-to-day basis? Are we putting the right nutrients in our body? Are we physically out here, really pushing ourselves in the weight room or working on our cardiovascular system? Like, what are we doing? We're trying to give ourselves a positive outlook. And I guess the definition for, at least with body positivity is, what's the viewpoint? Are we just saying we're happy with how we look or how we feel, which is a great concept to have, but are we really making sure our body is kind of what you were saying, Darci? Are we really making sure our body is getting the best that it needs, with nutrition and with actually going out and being, physically adapting to what we need to do as far as, lifting weights, resistant training, working on our cardio, really just working on our overall health. Are we really pushing ourselves to be a better person, from a day-to-day purpose, or are we just saying, I like the way I look, I don't care what anybody says. So if I'm not healthy, I'm still going to be happy with who I am. And it's like, I understand that, and that's a good mindset to have, but what can we do to make that better? How can we change that mindset? How can we, not only change the image of, how we look, but, also compare that with the mental. Like, I love the mentality you have, but let's try to compare that or match that with us physically doing something to help our bodies.
Absolutely. And both of you guys hit on the overarching, theme of this is a very nuanced and double-edged topic, right? So there's two ways to look at it, in my opinion. There is the side of it where you have people who are generally unhealthy, generally enjoy the way that they live their life. There are people like John Daly, professional golfer out there, that has said, he's way happier drinking 15 cans of Coke and like 15 hot dogs in a day versus being a very healthy individual. And there's people who look at that, look at themselves, and are just generally like happy in that lifestyle. And I think that overall, it's important to be happy in your skin and happy in your body. However, the other side of that is, and we were talking about this yesterday, like, are you really happy in that honestly overweight and obese body that is not going to last as long in the grand scheme of things as someone who is generally more healthy? And there's people who use it as an excuse.
Well, do you think people are looking at that? Do you think when someone says, and they post on social media, or we look at all these images and newspaper articles or magazine articles, and it says, this is what someone's looking at to be a very healthy or a very body positive movement, are they also healthy, or is their weight or is their lifestyle affecting the things they want to do? When we have clients, we have someone who's body positive. To them means they can do what they want to do, they can wear the clothes they want to wear. And to me, that they're happy, and they're happy in their body, Or you look at someone who is wearing, has a six-pack abs and is wearing this little crop top, and they're happy right now, but to maintain that body, they're not happy.
Right.
It's what it has to do and what has to go into maintaining that body. So I think there's a fine line. Like, I genuinely do. I think that there's a mix of, in our day it was, we wanted to be the cheerleader, the skinny fat. Now we're looking at being, the washboard abs, and there's a difference in the two. But also, if there's an overweight movement of everyone just saying it's okay to not care about our health, I think there's a big difference there as well.
I agree with that.
It's just such a hard kind of question to even ask, or a statement to even have a conversation with somebody who you're like, hey, look, I love the fact that you're mentally okay with who you are, where you are.
Absolutely.
But it may be some health issues that you're like, hey, it's a way, or what's the way that we can have this conversation and say, hey, how can we actually push this towards the physical capabilities of what you have? I understand the mental side of it, and you're comfortable with who you are and where you are, but how can we push the actual physical side and make this a whole, make you better as a whole?
Yeah.
I feel like it's such, kind of what Darci was saying, such a fine, it is tough.
Yeah.
And as trainers, I think the big question is really, obviously with someone new, you have to learn the boundaries, but you have to know what you're comfortable asking them. Is your goal personally, do you want to look good in a bikini, or do you want to look good going out to dinner with your husband? Or do you want to be a nice face picture, a nice headshot? What are you looking for? Do you want to play with your grandkids, or do you want to play professional sport? Like, there's fine lines. Even the most seasoned athletes don't always have washboard abs. They are, because to participate in their sport, potentially, they have to have a little meat on the bones. And so there's a fine line in health and what are you looking for?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, like you said, like the goals that you have, and not just like fitness goals. I'm talking, like you said, like lifestyle goals. Like, do you want to be able to, go on a hike? You know how we love our hikes and mountains here in South Florida.
Yeah, right.
But do you want to go out for a walk or for a hike with like your grandkids or your kids, like, and not be gasping for air after the first
walking
like,
down the
mile.
beach? Like, I mean, here in South Florida, like walking to the ocean.
And
like,
there are some people that, whether they're honest with themselves or just saying this, that say no, like I'm fine just hanging out on the couch all day and like drinking Cokes, eating Cheetos, and living that lifestyle.
Now, do you guys think that social media gives the bad side of body positivity a scapegoat? Like, they're okay because now we can sit and say, oh, well, this person is saying like, and they're, maybe they're overweight or their body doesn't look as the magazine or the bikini model or whatever it is. Do you think social media gives them that scapegoat to say, hey, look, I have people that are now like, they understand me, so to
Yeah.
speak?
I think it does.
Yes. And that's where it begins to become a little bit of a problem to me. And I live my life by the terms of live your life however you want, but the moment it starts to impact other people's negatively, try to cut it out a little bit. And so, when you have, influencers on social media that are, overweight and promoting that and saying that it's okay and that it's even healthy, that's where I think it becomes a little bit of a problem. And that's where other people start to view that and use that as an excuse to not better themselves. And another thing that I want to say is for like the example of John Daly. Like he has claimed to have pursued and I'm not taking any digs at John Daly, by the way. He's an awesome individual. I'm just using you as an example. John Daly, if you are listening to this podcast right now, it is a great
Yeah.
honor to have you.
Yes. Repost it.
Yes, please. But
Like and subscribe.
he's a great example because he's gone on record saying that he has chosen to live a very healthy and active lifestyle in the past. Like he's been very fit in the past and he just didn't enjoy it. Like he didn't enjoy the work that it took on a day-to-day basis, and he's happier living his current lifestyle than he is like putting in a little bit of time to work out. And that's okay. But and again, this is where it gets nuanced. Like if you're someone who's sitting on your couch and you're not really happy in your body and you're seeing that on social media and saying, oh, like that person says it's healthy and okay, so I guess I'm healthy and okay, and you're not really truly happy with that, then like it becomes a little bit of an issue for me.
I think it has to go also like what you're comfortable with. Like the body positivity has to be what you're comfortable living in, and that's what the question I brought up yesterday. Do you think that someone who happens to be overweight is comfortable in their skin and then they go to a doctor and they get told they're not healthy and the things they're doing are not okay? And do they just say, well, Instagram thinks I'm cute? Or do they turn around and say, okay, I have to make these lifestyle changes? And like we train a variety of clients and, some young, some old, some, and the things that these young kids say, like, well, this is fat. No, that's muscle. Like you actually have a little strength there. And, they don't know any better. And then we have some older clients who will say the opposite. I need to lose this. And we're like, well, then what are you going to have? Like, then you're not going to be able to do the things you want to do. I think it's going to vary. I think you really have to be okay in your own skin for sure, but I think there's got to be boundaries.
Yeah, and on the other side of it, even for people who are at a low body fat or they have
Like,
the
is that
six-pack
healthy?
abs, like that's
Yes.
is majority of the time it's the most miserable time for those people. I remember doing bodybuilding shows
Yeah.
and all the show at any point when I dropped 20 pounds or 25 pounds,
You're
and
miserable.
you're looking great, and I'm taking the pictures, and I'm like, oh, I look fantastic, and people are like, man, you look great, and I'm like, no, mentally, I am tired, I'm drained,
Cranky.
I'm starving myself, I'm cranky. Yeah, I was actually, me and Darci was working together when I was doing my bodybuilding shows. I was cranky. I mean, I had quick temper, everything. It was just like, you're just stressed, and you're putting a lot of stress on your body because every day it was like, what am I going to eat? When am I going to work out? When am I going to do this cardio? And it was all just based off of that. And that was my primary focus. And it was mentally, it was draining.
I was
Yeah.
reading something the other day about a bodybuilder doing something like that, like with a family. Like, that's something else. Like if there's a time in your life that you can meet those goals and
Yeah.
maybe where those goals are attainable. But to turn around and do something like that, like you're a business owner, you're a father, you're a husband, like
It's
those
a lot.
things they kind of have to sit in the back burner for a little bit. But is there a meet in the middle? Like, you still want to be healthy because you need to show up for your family. You want to show up for your business.
That's really, and I'm glad we brought this up because there are two extremes to it, right? There are the people who are overweight, who are body positive, and then there are the unrealistic, let's just call it how it is, expectations that, social media influencers who are very fit, you know, like the Chris Bumsteads out there. And again, Chris Bumstead, I'm not calling you out, but
Yes, but repost if we are calling.
please repost
Like and
it.
share.
Like and share, hit that subscribe button. But I think that the whole body positivity movement almost came as like a counter to that, you know, historic, you know, when you see the models out on the magazines that are unattainably skinny. They are, when they're taking whatever picture for the magazine of whatever they're on, likely starving themselves leading up to that. The lighting is as good as it can come. They are probably just coming out of a workout. So you are looking at someone who is like at an unsustainable level at the top shape that they can be. And you have a lot of, you know, young kids or people of all ages, honestly, that look at that and they even come in here to our gym and they say, I want to look like that every single day.
Yeah.
And people have to understand that that is not attainable, nor is it healthy, to your point, and
Yeah.
it's not sustainable. And I think this whole body positivity, like I said, movement, like came as a counter to that. And that's where I think that, again, like you mentioned, balance, like you do have to view it as a balance. Like if you are someone who works out, you know, even 3 times a week and you are living a generally active lifestyle and you don't look like the people that are on the cover of these magazines or on Instagram or whatever you're looking at, like that's okay. Like what you're looking at is not sustainable and you're not going to be happy living that lifestyle. So I want to spend some time there because, like, again, it's a double-edged sword in that regard as well.
I think something to be said with that is you can set goals and those goals can be achieved and you can work towards those goals. You know, do you want to compete? Do you want to get a photo shoot done? Like if we had clients that came in and said, I want a photo shoot and like I want to have these pictures or I want headshots or something, like we can work with that. But I would also turn around and say that I can't guarantee unless you're going to put the time, the effort, and the work in that you're going to be able to attain that body. And are you going to genuinely be happy with it for the long term?
Yeah.
I don't know, you know?
It's usually a conversation I have, and when people say, "Oh, I'm looking to drop a lot of weight. I want to look like this person," they may show me a picture, and I really go into detail with, "Okay, let me at least get you to understand what you're asking," because if we're talking about extremes, the going out with your family is probably going to be at a minimum. The afternoons when you guys may be sitting and eating your favorite dish, favorite dessert, that's going to be at an all-time minimum, and maybe you have to knock that out
Yeah,
completely.
it's not going to exist.
It's not going to
It's
exist.
honestly not. There's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah,
that comes with that.
and a lot of it is if you're doing it, maybe your spouse or somebody you're with needs to do it, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it is. They may need to do it as well, so they understand the actual mental drive it takes to get to those goals, because it is extremely hard, not just physically but mentally. I mean, you have to cut out everything and almost have to cut out fun and having a relationship outside of trying to change your body.
And that's the only thing to be said with the body positivity is, you know, a trend, or the only way I could put it into my own words, which I don't think was our the description of the beginning, was accepting what you accept, whether it's good or bad. Like, you know, if someone accepts that they want those washboard apps, like they're going to have to give up everything you just said. If someone's going to be a little bit more heavy set, like the positivity of that is that they have to understand that they're going to go to the doctors every once in a while and they're going to hear not the best news.
Yes.
So if those are things that you're okay with hearing potentially, I think that in that way, the positivity trend is okay. But with the mental health aspect of it, if you're not okay hearing the one way or the other that, you know, it might put a strain in your relationship by having that body, it might put a strain in your family, you know, you have to be accepting of it. And I don't know if everyone's willing to take one way or the other. And I think that's where this controversy is kind of sitting in the middle of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just quickly touching on the mental health aspect as well. I think that a lot of people who aren't in any way, shape, or form like involved in fitness don't work out. It's a big misunderstanding that the mental health aspect of pursuing a fit and healthy lifestyle comes with looking the way that you do. That's certainly true. Like if you look great and you work out 6 times a week and you're happy with your body because of it, like there's a lot of like mental health benefits that come with that. But the other side of it is like from a scientific perspective, there are, you know, releases of endorphins and dopamine that come after a very hard workout that I don't think a lot of people who aren't kind of pursuing a fit lifestyle understand. So that's just like a little quick
Well, I
side
think
note
that's
as
something
well.
to be said of like athletes. Like, I was watching on Instagram the other day, professional soccer players taking a Pilates class, and they were like in
I saw that.
insane shape. But, like
Uh-huh.
even a football player, a bodybuilder, like put them in a yoga class and they can't hold one move,
Uh-huh.
So I think there has to be said, like, your body type is meant for a certain part of your life or a certain style, like you do see these days a lot of moms like in weightlifting class, like their body can endure that stuff, but there's also something to be said that the strength that comes with the physical load that your body has to put on to do that.
Yeah.
And it gets, I think I'm a little bit worried too by the age. And I think that's what social media plays in with a lot of the young kids that we have got coming in. Like they're so worried about how they look at the ages, from those teen years, just because they're watching somebody from another page that's, they have subscribers, they have followers now, and they see this image as, oh, this is what my body needs to look like at this age.
Yes.
Or even from on the older side of it, we have some clients that may be older and they're like, oh, I want to look like this lady who's, she's 60, 70, but look how she, look at her. Like, look. And it's like, yeah, but understand what she had to do, kind of to piggyback of what we were saying, to take those pictures.
Yeah.
Like she had, went on a crazy diet plan probably for 12 to 16 weeks just to lead up into those pictures. And she's probably like a professional like model to where they have angles of how they take pictures. So I'm like, you have to study a lot when we're talking about what you want to look like. Like
Yeah.
you have no idea what those people have done to their bodies, even on the supplemental side, to actually look like that and be, ready to take those photos.
Do you think that the body positivity is going to have an effect on like athletes, like where they're going to be wanting to train a certain way for a certain aesthetic rather than training to their sport? Like, like I was saying, some of the athletes who hike mountains, like intense mountains, like they need to have a little body fat. Like they might be going a certain amount of time. Football players, like, certain positions in football, they're big guys, but they want to look a certain way. Do you think that that's going to play an effect as well?
I think it would eventually get like that. I think at one point, like when CrossFit got pretty big in the fitness industry, a lot of athletes in itself did a lot of CrossFit and their body types were the same. But you're also seeing like some of the common injuries that happen between doing those styles of training.
Yeah.
But and I think that was more so like an image thing. Everybody wanted to look like a CrossFitter at that time. Now it's a little bit more of a functional
Functional
movement, functional training. Everybody's more, probably more focused on the dynamics of how does the body move? How should I move? How does it relate to, how I should look in my sport, my actual sport or my activity? So I think it can have a positive and a negative effect to, athletes and what they're doing for their sport.
Absolutely. I think that actually plays a huge role. Like when you see, these high schoolers that are scrolling through Instagram, again, just using Chris Bumstead as an example, are seeing guys who look like that. All they want to do is go in the gym and hit like,
Buys and tries,
biceps,
baby. Buys and
triceps, all
tries.
these isolation movements. If you're a football player, there's not a whole lot on the football field that is translatable from an isolation movement like a curl or like a tricep kickback or anything that isolates like the muscles. So that's where I think that young athletes have to be disciplined and understand kind of, again, what their personal goals are, whether they're performance-based, whether they're aesthetics-based, and how that's going to translate to the sport that they play. I think the overall theme that we're kind of getting at here is you just have to understand that anything in life, but especially in fitness, is going to come with trade-offs, and it's important to understand what those trade-offs are and which one you're more willing to sacrifice.
And that they can all just be phases. The things you wanted as, obviously a 15-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 25-year-old, 30-year-old, and up the scale. Like they're going to change. Like I said, I have clients that want to play with their grandkids. Like I want to be able to play with my daughter. That is going to be a trade-off. You want to be participate in these sports. You want to be a first round draft. Those things are going to come with different phases of your life. And you have to kind of be able to pivot to go from one position to the other to understand that that's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's the other part of it too, which, and I know you guys have come across it, is, how we're actually giving ourselves that definition of the body positivity versus, we talked about it like someone stepping on a weight scale or someone trying on, clothes, or someone how they feel when they're moving? And like what is something that you guys, ask your clients or tell your clients from a standpoint of, hey, look, this is how you probably should understand what's best for your body, and, moving forward, what you should do depending on this type of, whether it's scale, whether it's clothing, in that nature.
I'm a big one on progress pictures.
Progress pics, baby.
It helps.
Not
so
in
much.
your underwear or your bathing suit. Doesn't have to be that.
My bad.
Pick an outfit.
Yeah, literally.
Pick an outfit. Pick an old pair of shorts, your favorite pair of shorts, your favorite shirt. Take a picture of it, the front, the side, the back, and then take a picture in that again, like in a month, a couple weeks, whatever you feel is right. And see the definition, see the change. You might feel that some weeks those shorts are bigger, some weeks they're smaller, and they're in different positions, but you'll notice the difference in the pictures. I think a lot, like pull a picture out that you had that was your favorite picture and let us look at it with comparison of the outfit we're wearing right now. Let's see the difference. You'd be surprised that after some strength training and some little tweaks that those can be made, but you might be chasing an unattainable goal or something you don't even want anymore.
Yeah.
But you think, that was your best shape ever.
I think that, and we were talking about this yesterday, and I know we're all on the same page here, but just to hit on it, scales are a very dangerous thing.
Yes.
Especially when you are doing any sort of resistance or strength training. You have to understand that a scale is going to be very deceiving because you are going to be losing body fat, which is a good thing. If you're coming in here, most people have the goal of losing body fat, but you are also going to be building muscle. And everyone knows, at least we know, that muscle weighs more than fat. So you can be coming in here for 8 weeks, getting stronger, getting bigger muscles, and then you can be going home every single day, getting on a scale and saying, oh my gosh, I'm not losing weight. Like whatever I'm doing isn't working. Like that's just not true because you're going to be losing body fat and gaining muscle at the same time. And those are going to tip the scale and balance out.
And as much as people don't believe it, but like the time of the day, like if you are
Yes.
using a scale, you should be
Yes.
weighing yourself every morning or every night. You should be using the same time of day to see it. I mean, we all notice it. Like we weigh ourselves at home every day and then we go to the doctor and it's like, you weigh this. No way, no way. Like, yeah, because you weighed yourself this morning, you weigh yourself every morning and now it's in the afternoon. So,
Yeah.
and you just go back from vacation, you're drinking a lot of water. I mean, there's so many factors that come into the
Yeah.
scale, but you put that outfit on and you take that picture, those are...
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. The progress pictures, I think, is probably the best because you can
I
see
said
it from a week to week basis
And make
and
it something
track
you can share. And it doesn't need to be on social media. It doesn't need to be in your underwear. But
I mean, hey, man, you got to look at all angles. That's all.
Yeah,
I mean, you
come
got to
on.
look at all angles.
Got to look at the quads, the upper
Gotta get
quads.
the upper
Come on.
quads,
I think that in terms of progress pictures as well, if you're going to do that, make sure that it's in the same lighting as well. Because
Yeah.
if the lighting is different from one week to the other, you could look at yourself and see a completely different human than the week before, just depending on where the light's coming from. Whether if it's coming down on you, then you're going to look stronger. If it's coming from behind you, then you're not going to see anything. Just be mindful of that for those of you who are going back and taking
do
progress
those affect your
pictures.
progress pictures?
No, I'm pretty consistent with my progress pictures and the lighting and where I take them.
And to understand all of these things is what we're saying, the pictures, the angles, the time of day. These are all the things that has to go into, if you're looking to lose weight or you're trying to shape yourself, the body fat, whatever it is, it's like understand the mental drive.
Yeah.
And sometimes the actual hiccups you'll come across when your body doesn't look as if you're dropping weight. The body fat is not coming down as quick as you thought. And it's been a lot of times where I'm working my ass off and it's been a month, 2 months, and I'm like, I lost what? I lost 3 pounds, or I only
Yeah.
dropped this much of body fat. Like, there's no way. I've been killing myself. I've been eating the right foods. Like, it's really a mental game.
Absolutely. And the asterisk I kind of want to put in here as well is right now we're talking about just people who want to work out for aesthetic purposes. I think that, as always, it depends on what your goals are as well. Like if your goals are to get stronger, then your body fat's probably going to have to go up a little bit because with strength comes weight and size. Like I have a couple of clients that just want to get stronger and want to look like massive freaks of human beings. And the number one thing that I tell those people is it doesn't matter what we do here in the gym. Like you're going to have to eat a lot of food and an uncomfortable amount of protein. And for those people, I would say like progress pictures, yes, like because you're going to see the size and just how much bigger you are getting, but also keep track of your weights, like, and especially with your main compound
That's a
lifts,
big
like
thing.
keep track of like how much you're squatting every week, how much you're bench pressing every week. Like if your goal is strength, like you have to write down what you're doing. And when you come to DRP Health and Fitness, I write it down for you.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be telling you guys,
Yes.
you know, how much stronger you're getting, but that take pride in that. Like take pride in that like little like 5 pound increase in your bench press over, you know, a couple weeks. Like that's something to monitor and track. And again, if that's your goal, like be mindful of it and take pride in it, because that's where working out becomes fun. Like when you're noticing those differences, when you're taking your progress pictures in your underwear in the same lighting, uh, when you notice that, like, hey, like my squat increased like 5-10 pounds over a couple of weeks.
It
Like,
must be because of the progress pics.
yeah, obviously those go hand in hand. But that's again, that's where working out becomes fun, when you see those minor improvements over a short period of time, because those minor improvements over a short period of time become massive improvements over a long period of time.
Now to make a joke at Kyle, because we usually
Oh
do.
boy.
Does you wearing your high water shorts help your body positivity?
Yes, it does.
Yes. Yeah, I thought so.
When you spend time on your quads, you want to show them off.
I actually, what shorts do you wear? Are those Lululemon? What are those?
Lululemon.
Those Lululemon?
Yeah, they're very tight fitting.
I actually have, like, I just started. Actually, my aunt who's sitting here watching me, it was some shorts, Fab Athletics by, I think that's Kevin. Is that Kevin Hart? I think that's Kevin Hart.
He
There's
promotes
Kevin-
them
Yeah, he
big time.
promotes them.
Sponsor us, please.
Yeah,
Athletics, if you're out there, please.
I wore some of his short, and like they're like a little bit past the mid thigh, but I
Yeah.
look great, and I'm like, I get so many compliments now, and I'm like, wow, I'm thinking about buying a couple more of these shorts. Like
These short shorts.
I
kind of
will
felt my
say-
body positivity. I felt good. I'm like,
I
I don't know.
have-
I
Do
got
you
to show
think-
off the legs a little bit.
Do you think your outfits play into body positivity?
Yeah, for sure. If you're working out and if all you're wearing are loose clothing, you're not going to be like noticing the difference. And it goes back into what you were saying about like find an old pair of clothes, like a tight fitting shirt.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
is
right.
it a little bit tighter or is it a little bit looser? Again, it depends on like what your goals are. Like if you're looking to get size, like pay attention to what the
If
way
your
the
quads look good
sleeves
in your
fit.
tight shorts,
Absolutely.
we're winning.
Yes, absolutely. If your shorts feel
our
a little bit
thumbnail?
tighter
Our
in a couple
thumbnail is
weeks-
gonna be Kyle
Kyle's
in his
shorts.
my shorts. I will say.
What length are those?
These are actually a 7-inch inseam. Sometimes I've ordered a couple pairs of like 5-inch inseams, and I'll try them on, and I look at myself and I say, I can never ever wear these in public. Like, there's probably 3 pairs of shorts in my closet right now that I ordered thinking that I would look great in, and then they just literally look like underpants. So
Yeah.
be careful with what you're buying out there too. Do your research, because you don't want to be
Yeah, it
walking
wouldn't
around
look
wearing
good on me. My
underpants.
legs are too short. I mean, they're too thick, so I don't think I don't think it worked.
But we just call those thick. They're like trunks, like total tree trunks.
Yeah, like it wouldn't work good for me.
trunks.
It wouldn't work
trunks.
good
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
I've been told I have tree trunk legs every once in a while.
See, that's good. Hitting those quads, hitting those lunges. I like it.
Yeah, strong legs, strong minds. That's a Josh Bridges quote. Shout out Josh Bridges if you're listening to this. As always,
Repost us, Josh.
Repost us, please. Comment, and let us know that you're listening.
Repost us.
All right, folks. Well, closing remarks on the whole topic of body positivity. If you could wrap this up into a sentence or a piece of advice for your clients or for people out there who maybe aren't our clients, people out there in Indonesia, across the world that are listening to this podcast.
I would have to say, if you're going to follow this trend, you're into the body positivity, just make sure you really are comfortable with it. You're doing it for you, and you're comfortable understanding that changes are going to happen, and that's a phase. And be patient with yourself. I'm not 100% for things, you not being unhealthy. Health is wealth. It's all we have. So I think you just have to pay attention. And, again, you have to understand that sometimes chasing some goals are going to take time. They're going to take some loss. So you have to, again, accept the goal you have in front of you, and if that's what you want to do, go with it, or give yourself some lenience and take the time to achieve what you want to achieve.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think on both sides, whether it's somebody who has, they feel like they're overweight or they feel like they have the 6-pack abs, I think, going to see, your doctor, getting your blood work, understand what your body actually needs. And that even plays a role into supplements. Some people will go and say, oh, yeah, I'm taking these supplements. I'm like, okay, did you go do blood work to see if your body needs it? No. I was like, okay, how do you know your body? Don't just look at something and say, oh, I think I needed that. Like, oh, my body needs. It's like, no, understand what your body actually needs, to actually help you with those goals. And if, you're comfortable with how you look and, how you feel, that's a great thing. But also go get a checkup and actually get tested and see what's going on between, what my body
Absolutely.
needs and what my body wants.
Yes, sir. So overall, love yourself, be patient with yourself, be mindful of your goals, do your research, understand the trade-offs that come with looking great versus not looking so great, whether it be health, whether it be sacrificing your time, your family, the foods that you like to enjoy. Understand what you're getting yourself into and have an open conversation with whatever professional, whether it be a personal trainer, a doctor. Us being personal trainers, I can speak from experience. We are here to have these conversations with you, these open conversations with you. We will be honest with you. We will not mislead you.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, we care about your health and your happiness more than anything else.
Yep. And we can sit down and eat tacos and talk about it all you want.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for.
There's nothing wrong with
I'm all for
tacos.
it. Yeah, we're all here for it.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here to listen to you guys.
Well, folks, that is another episode of DRP Between the Sets. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you want to hear more content like this, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. We're going to be coming out with these pretty regularly. So understanding that this is a controversial topic, as always, if you disagree with us, if you have something you want to say about the topic, drop us a comment. If you do agree with us, make sure you hit that like button. And again, drop a comment and telling us that you think that we're great. We love to hear that. But again, criticism is always welcome as well.
If you want to talk about Cal's shorts, please leave a comment on that too as well.
If you think my shorts are too short, come at me. Donald's been waiting to hit that button all day.
I think I have some 2.5s if you want to try them out.
Oh, that would be lovely. That would be lovely. But yeah, go out there, be great, do your research, understand the trade-offs, have open conversations with your health and fitness professionals. And until next time, have a wonderful day.
We'll see you then.
Thank you.